Weeds are wild plants growing where they are not desired and are in competition with cultivated plants. They often become pests amongst agricultural practices, for they not only themselves are a bother, but they carry a plethora of other pests dangerous to the well-being or fine design of a plant orchard. Today, we will explore the 6 overall best methods for classifying common weed nuisances. Chapter 1. The Life Cycle. The average life cycle for a weed is a determining factor for its classification. The completion of a weed's life cycle can range anywhere from just weeks to several years. For example, annual weeds, as they are named, complete their life cycle within just 1 year or 1 season. Biennial weeds, on the other hand, take at least 2 years or seasons to complete theirs, with the end of their vegetative growth in the first year and their reproduction in the next. Perennial weeds take even longer to complete their life cycles, continuing to grow for over 2 years. There are, however, groupings of weeds whose biological clock is much shorter and follows a specific season in particular, as do rabi weeds in the winter and summer weeds in the, well, you guessed it, summer. Chapter 2. Root Systems. There are 2 main root systems that correspond with the perennial weed category: shallow-rooted perennials and deep-rooted perennials. Shallow-rooted perennials have about a 20 to 30 centimeter deep root system, whereas deep-rooted perennials are weeds having about 1 meter or more of a root system. Chapter 3. Mode of Reproduction. A particular weed's mode of reproduction can differentiate vastly depending on its structure. Simple perennials reproduce mostly by seeds, in which birds eat berries and seeds, which do not break down in their gut, but pass through and are distributed in their droppings, or in which another organism will carry the seeds to be grown in another location upon their meeting with the soil. Bulbous perennials reproduce through propagation by underground parts like bulbs, rhizomes, tubers, etc., as well as seeds. Examples of this lie in the life of the cattail, in which long, narrow leaves are attached at the base of each plant, overlapping each other and surrounding the stem. The bundle of leaves and stem near the cattail roots form the shoot. Creeping perennials are fitting in their name, in that their reproduction involves being spread by the lateral extension of the creeping above ground stem or roots by seeds. Chapter 4. Habitat. The type of habitat a weed is raised in can have major effects on what the weed is like as a whole. Depending on the place of their occurrence, weeds can be grouped as under weeds of croplands, weeds of pastures and grazing lands, or weeds along a water channel. Chapter 5. Nature of the stem. The nature of a stem is often split into 2 important categories: woody weeds and herbaceous weeds. Woody weeds are the woody and semi-woody rough stem shrubs and are collectively called brush weeds, like the acacia wildberry. Herbaceous weeds have green and succulent stems and are a common occurrence on farmland, much like parthenium. Chapter 6. The origins of weeds. The origin of a singular weed group have the potential to have started thousands of miles away from their current location, while another group may stay in a particular region. Weeds can be categorized to an area as introduced, exotic, invasive, alien, or arthrophytes. Many weeds move from the place of their origin by seeds or other parts to a new area. When there, they become introduced weeds or are considered alien or anthrophytes. Examples of the variety of the origins of weeds go as follows: Parthenium hysterophorus from the United States of America, Gonorrhea from Sri Lanka by birds, Bambaku from Europe, and Johnson grass from Asia and southern Europe.